line capable of supplying parts. Still, the loss of so many tanks in a month's time, with the majority of those losses occurring in non-combat situations, only reinforces the low opinion the British tankers had of their M1340s. Of all the Allies, the Soviets were understandably the largest users of captured German armor. The vast scope and length of the fighting on the Eastern Front gave them the greatest opportunity to organize captured tanks into units in useful numbers. This, combined with the desperate need for anything that could be used to resist the Nazi invaders, gave rise to small units, platoons, and companies of captured enemy tanks. The Soviet Army even published orders and translated instruction manuals on their use. These orders specified using them as long as they could be kept running. The larger German Tigers and Panthers were ordered discarded when they broke down or were otherwise no longer battle-worthy. As in the case of Cockoo, Panthers were particularly popular for their fighting qualities, and crews prized them so highly they often ignored the order to discard them upon breakdown, keeping them in service as long as possible. This even extended to requiring captured German tank crewmen and mechanics to work on the tanks to keep them going. Maintaining these vehicles in the field presented many difficulties. Tanks consumed spare parts and ammunition quickly, but for captured vehicles there was no steady source of supply, especially when the users were on the defensive and did not expect to overrun enemy supply depots. Even when enemy stocks were captured, there were significant logistical problems in coordinating distribution to the units that actually needed them. Given the vast distances typical on the Eastern Front, transporting stocks from wherever they were captured to the units that needed them, perhaps hundreds of miles away, would require extensive planning even without the vagaries of combat and weather that plagued all soldiers fighting there. As for the tanks themselves, they were usually painted with large, easily visible Soviet identification markings to avoid or at least minimize the incidence of friendly fire. A wise commander would obviously want to coordinate with friendly units operating on his flanks so they would know there were captured enemy tanks in use in the area. It was also common to place flags or other appropriate identification markers on the tops of turrets or engine decks as a signal to friendly aircraft, something many tankers did anyway, even if they were not operating captured tanks.
While these small-scale organized uses of German and Italian fighting vehicles went on, there were also uncounted instances of individual units using captured tanks for their own tactical and short-term advantage. Generally, these AFVs were also used until they broke down or ran out of ammunition. Then they were discarded or destroyed to prevent recapture. A small number would be turned over to various intelligence units for inspection and evaluation, with a few of those eventually shipped back to England or the United States as trophies or for technical testing at places such as Aberdeen Proving Ground in Maryland. Today, museums have many of these vehicles on display. Unfortunately, a number of the captured German